Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Red Queen Tarot. Thanks for tuning in today. We're doing readings for October. Let's see what sign we should read for next. Okay, well, Jupiter's here. Some of these tokens have planets, others have signs. So let's try and get a sign, please. Might tie into the reading. Okay, Cancer. Beautiful. You may have Jupiter in Cancer. That's a very beneficial placement in my eyes. You know, Jupiter's expansion, and Cancer rules the home, the fourth house, the heart. So it's somebody who has a big heart, a lot of compassion and love, and just wants to share it with the world. So, and that's typical Cancer. I mean, in tropical zodiac, that's my sun sign. So my mom is the same way. But there's a lot of compassion, loving, nurturing, caring, and support. So maybe that's just a theme that's going on for you this month, or you may have that placement natally. All right, let's start with a deck for Cancer. I'm going to use the Syrian Starseed Tarot. So this deck is massive, so give me a minute while I try and shuffle this. Oh, I guess I just noticed this. Okay, first of all, this little prop that I have on my altar is, this is a clay box that I made, I want to say junior high, 12 years old maybe, or younger, I don't remember. I think it was 12, 13 in that very awkward phase. But I actually have the 6 and the 9 here carved in because of my Cancer sign, and I intuitively stuck the token right there. And I have a thing for dolphins, if you can't tell. Have them all tattooed on me too. So, as a water sign, you'd understand your love and affection for the ocean. So, here we go. I'm just going to shuffle back here because it's easier than extending my arms, and the cards are awkward enough already. So you just have to trust me there. One. I think we're only going to be able to fit 3 of these cards. And one more. Okay. Underneath the deck, guidance. The 5th major arcana, the Emperor card. We have the Golden Buddha sitting there in reflection, doing a mudra, possibly. Something you might want to look into, might benefit you this month. We have the Sphinx in the background. I'm going to read about this card then. But yeah, some of you might be seeking out a spiritual teacher this month, connecting with one. Let's see if I can fit this. Probably not, because these cards are massive. There we go. Okay. Or it could be Taurus too, the Hierophant. Okay, now here we have the 3rd major arcana, abundance. Number 3, the Empress. Again, she's kind of in your element this month. She's standing in a pool of water. She's normally ruled by Taurus as well, because Venus rules the sign of Taurus. Double Taurus energy for you, the 2nd house of money and finances. There could be an overflowing or an abundance or outpouring of wealth this month that you're surrounded with. It could also be, again, water being emotion. This could be an abundance of love. I did mention Jupiter in Cancer is an expansion of love. And here we are, the 2nd card, 7 of Chalices, more water energy, 7 of Cups. This card, it can be a card of choice, illusion, delusion, but in a negative, but also in the positive, it can be options. You know, there's multiple possibilities for you. There's all these cups to drink from. Which one do you pick? We have knowledge, wealth. They're all filled with something a little different. There's a crown there, could be authority. Let's see what else. Some of these are hard to make out. Never really looked at this card in detail, so I'm not completely familiar with everything that's in them. But anyway, you get the idea. There's choices available to you. And it's like almost, you know, now that you have all this abundance, what do I do with it? Maybe that's why you're seeking guidance. Maybe consulting a financial advisor. And finally, we have higher self. Wonderful. This is the number 2 card, the High Priestess. So we have a lot of feminine energy here. And again, she is in the water, which is our subconscious mind. She's the connection between the conscious and the subconscious. She has a scroll of knowledge here that only she is able to read from. She's the keeper of secrets and wisdom. So again, you might be tapping into this record, like the Akashic records or ancestral knowledge, some kind of hidden knowledge this month as you connect with a spiritual teacher or following their guidance. You're able to apply their principles to your life and get these results. So your intuition is very strong this month, Cancer. There is the full moon behind her. This card is ruled by the moon, and as are you, Cancer. That's your ruling body in astrology. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there because this Jupiter is abundance. It's wealth. That's really what's coming now. Okay, so I don't get this negative aspect of, deception here in the Seven of Cups. That's just choice to me. You have, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you like with all this energy, insight, wisdom, wealth, whatever it is that you are experiencing an influx of this month. Okay, so I'm going to get a little clarity. Let's see. I'm going to use the other large deck that I have. This is also a non-traditional Dreams of Gaia Tarot. So we may see some unique cards come through here. Okay. Underneath this deck, okay, the Six of Swords, the Six of Air. Now, I like this card, seeing it right away after the High Priestess, because normally in the High Priestess card, you have her sitting between the pillars of Jachin and Boaz. And here we have the dark and the light side. It's like this equilibrium, this balance that's been achieved. And this figure is in the middle, tapping into both energies, connecting the chakras. The circuitry is flowing because she's utilizing both sides of the, perspective, duality consciousness. She's mastered that and come into oneness. So, and the swords are air sign, which is mental and mind. So there's a balanced mind here that's, I think, connecting the circuitry to allow this abundance to flow. And that balanced mind may have come from this meditative state, from this kind of ability to master the emotions. There's all the water here in this reading. And you, as a water sign, were easily polarized. We can be influenced one way or another to feel highly passionate about something, whether it is, positive or negative, for or against a certain side. So in taking, I think, the time to seek the guidance through higher self, being able to master that magnetism within you is what's bringing you that kind of centralized stability. And that's opening the floodgates for what's coming through. Okay, the Child. This is a number 1 major arcana. This is the Magician. And that's really, children are magical. I personally don't have children, but I know a lot of people's experiences with them and why we are drawn to them as a society, just because they're so innocent, and that's what they do. They're fully present. They live, they play, they don't worry. They have infinite possibilities and imagination because their mind hasn't been programmed yet. It hasn't been solidified. So their reality is still very malleable. They can create whole stories and worlds in their heads and write it down and turn it into a picture, and that's like the power that you have this month that you're tapping into. You have the Magician, number 1, number 2, higher self, which is the High Priestess, and number 3, which is the Empress. This is like the beginning of a journey. It's a progressive ascent as you see the staircase spiraling up. You're elevating yourself into higher consciousness this month, one step at a time. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So there's something, maybe that's, again, you're getting guidance on how to organize your progress or how to get to this abundance, because it takes, this mastery of the mind in order to synchronize and, keep these things in order, because we can't have just water running rampant. We do need structure. We need a plan. Okay. And that's, how you script your outcome. Like the child, he draws his dream home on a piece of paper and says, I'm going to build that house someday, or I'm going to move into that house someday. And they make it happen. And next to that, we have, or at least in their minds, some of them may actually go on to do it and be great architects, just as an example. Here we have thought, number 18. Now, this again being the non-traditional tarot. The 18th major arcana, though, would be the moon, which again we saw in the High Priestess, ruled by the moon card. And that is, emotional. There's cycles, waxing and waning. And here again, you have a figure sitting between a light and a dark side. So, this introspection, by looking into higher self, by observing shadow self and gaining lessons, insight, and wisdom about it, she's able to integrate the shadow side into her waking conscious mind, accepting, loving, forgiving. And that's what's bringing her the unity that is required in order to make this magic happen. And she's looking into like a scrying bowl, it looks like. So it's, to me, I just hear the word reflection, taking time to reflect on self, spending time perhaps alone with your thoughts, journaling your thoughts, or turning them into an art project, which is, the magician, again, the creative energy, or the Empress, because she represents fertility. And here we have, the Empress and the child. So it could be a mother-child thing for some of you. Could be bringing a child into the world this month. That's not for everybody, obviously, but it's like you're definitely giving birth to a new project, idea, concept, or a new direction in life. Again, that's where you have to take time to spend alone and reflect on your options. What are my choices? Where can I go with this? And then we have the Queen of Air. Okay, so here we have more air showing up like we did in the Six of Swords. This is the Queen of Swords. Logic, decision making. So it definitely feel like it's you balancing your emotions this month. And I was going to say this earlier, but the reading for Pisces, your sister sign, got the abundance card also. So you might have a connection with a Pisces that's bringing this in, but I only bring that up because here we have the Queen of Swords, and in her eyes we have the symbols of Pisces. So she is able to see. She has the gift of sight. She's the psychic, she's able to tap into these higher realms, and the fact that this is directly under the High Priestess, this is her connection. This is her channel to the divine. Her crown chakra is very much aligned and illumined this month. She's able to see very clearly anything. Again, this ascension, this staircase, like getting your head above the clouds or out of the clouds. There's a lot of clarity and wisdom to be gained, perhaps again, by this meditative state, by achieving this mastery of the mind, by balancing mind and emotion. Okay. Finally, we have the Father, another major arcana. So this is the Emperor card in a traditional deck. But it is here, it's number 5. It's normally number 4. But again, we still have the sequence of numbers. We have the 1, 2, 3, and now 5. But it's a progression of the process. This is divine masculine energy, and the Emperor is the King of Kings. He is his own master, his own boss, lovingly wielding power. And actually, I look at this too, 5-5, guidance. Father guidance. Some of you might be receiving guidance from your father or spiritual father, or whatever you see as an authority figure, or just somebody who's more experienced than you. Even they don't even have to be related in that sense. A wise elder, really. And so speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Angels and Ancestors card. Okay, wow. I started shuffling this, and this fell out on the floor. I talked about consulting a wise elder. Here we have the wise one. Grow within your current situation. I spoke of the number sequence, the progression. And here we have a wise older woman. I mentioned older man, but I don't think gender is important at this point. We have more owls. The goddess Athena, her companion was the owl. They are the keepers of wisdom, just like the High Priestess. So let's see. what the wise one has to say. Okay. Knuckle down, be reliable and committed. Be open to wisdom and insights from your elders. The wise one represents the wisest aspect of the goddess, the crone. So I was feeling a lot of that feminine, divine feminine energy, the three phases, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So this is like the waning phase of life, but they have the most experience and knowledge and wisdom to pass on. In paganism and modern Wicca, the crone is the fiercest, most psychic, and most aware aspect of the goddess, because she has been through many of life's challenges and overcome many setbacks. On this card, the raven in her hand represents the capacity to overcome the darker times and be reborn again and again. So kind of how I mentioned about doing shadow work with the self, reflecting on the self, and taking those lessons of, okay, well, why did I respond this way in the past? How can I respond differently in the future? So she helps you to tap into wisdom to overcome whatever life throws at you, wisdom being the information stored in your soul rather than the knowledge acquired in this lifetime, and to learn from the experience of your elders. So wow, I was really feeling that with the higher self card with the High Priestess here. Like I said, she has these records in her hand that only she can read. That's because it's the knowledge within you, in your spirit, your light body that you carry with you for eternity. So it's you really tapping into who you are and who you have been already in previous lives. So this is really connecting with your old soul for some of you. The wisdom of the wise one is based on something that a younger generation is often lacking: commitment and reliability. When this card appears, you are being guided to continue working on your growth and expansion within your current situation. Be committed to your tasks and projects. It can be very easy to get bored or overwhelmed, but persevere. You are being reminded of how it feels to be let down and experience unreliability, and that is not who you were born to be. So keep working on what you're working on, because it's going to be extremely beneficial for you in the long run. Awesome. So yeah, stick it out. I mean, these rewards come to those who persevere. Nobody achieved greatness by quitting. So stick at it. You're on the right path. And it's like all these blessings are waiting for you just to be picked up along your way. Every time you go up another level, there's another reward. There's a increasing satisfaction with your pursuit. Okay. That compounding interest I just heard. So some of you might be having an investment, that you see grow exponentially, but you're compounding the interest and the investment in yourself. It's more energy being put in and honored than previously. Okay, I have these archetype cards. I'm going to grab one for you. The animal, number 19, is what I pulled for you. Let's see what the animal has to say. We are mammals. The hair on our chest and between our legs remind us so. We try hard to deny our unrefined animalistic nature, yet through this archetype we tap into power and direction. Activating the animal within means reawakening our relationship to nature in the most broad and embodied sense. Drinking from waterfalls, roaring at the moon, opening eyes underwater, eating berries from the vine. The life force of our planet begs us to set down the devices, the constraints and the social constructs, and remember the warm blood that pulses through our veins. I mentioned returning to your body and recentering and feeling grounded. Or I'm sorry, that was the previous reading, but it's coming back through to me though, to be present in your physical vehicle, like in this meditation here, that can create a sense of grounding. All right. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skin. If this all sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that when Buddha became enlightened, he roared like a great lion. Whoa. I'm going to read that again. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skin. If this all sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that Buddha became enlightened. He roared like a great lion. So he was grounded. He was in touch with his animal nature, becoming one with nature and the universe at the same time. He's grounded, seated in the lotus position. His root chakra is firmly connected to the ground. Okay, vital, elemental, alive. The beast, the wild one, the she-wolf. The animal demands we get comfortable in our own skin. The minute you accept, express, and celebrate the physical body, you tap into animal energy. Very powerful. Notice your resistance to the animal within. Where does it come from? What has it kept you from doing, wild one? So yeah, that to me again is getting in touch with your roots and your instinct, following your intuition like the animals do. You know, they just know. They're intuitive, like the High Priestess. And that's what you're tapping into this month. By tapping into your body, you're able to connect into that spirit, that animal spirit. Okay, because you are such a powerful feminine water sign during this reading, Cancer, I'm going to pull a Goddess Guidance card and a Queen of the Moon Oracle. All right, 2 of these fell down, so we'll see what they are. Let's go ahead and pull this Moon card as well. Queen of the Moon Oracle. Okay. Underneath that deck, we have the Balance card. What I mentioned about rising above the clouds, getting clarity, getting your head out of the clouds. And this 6 of Swords Balance card, balancing of the mind. So just another little confirmation there. And you have this depicted as an older woman, you know, having the wisdom to see the big picture. And actually the moon phases are hanging around her as well. She's holding the full moon. I'm not going to read about that one because I want to see what this card is. Self-love, number 6. Awesome. So, yeah, honoring your body, your temple, your infinite light spirit. That's, you know, respecting yourself and your body and having love for everything that your soul has been through is really what makes you an empowered, wise being. Okay, next to that we have Rhiannon Sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. Yeah, don't underestimate your ability to manifest this month, Cancer, because being so connected to Source, here in the Queen of Swords, I mentioned, you know, her third eye, her crown chakra is very open to receiving this month. So you have the power to channel those thoughts and that wisdom into becoming a reality, like here in the Child, having that. This is the Magician card, and here we have the Sorceress. So just be very mindful of your thoughts, because that is exactly what you're going to get. And under that, we have White Tara, sensitivity. You're becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. So I mentioned purification, like you can work with White Tara for that. And here again, she's sitting on the lotus flower like the Buddha is too. So I feel like a lot of you are going to gain a lot of insight this month from taking time to meditate and purify the channel between yourself and higher self. That's really going to bring about an incredible reward for you, a spiritual reward. Okay, Cancer, I think that's everything I have for you this month. Thanks so much for tuning in. I thoroughly enjoyed this reading. If you did too, please let me know in the comments below, and hopefully we'll see you next month. Thanks. Bye-bye.